Alright, time for another video. I don't even know if my phone's gonna let me do this video. I've got like a couple on the back burner that I filmed, and then my phone's been fucking up, so like obviously maybe I should go and get a better phone or some good tech, but again, right now not the goal of this channel. But I would want to say before I do this video, sorry if it seems like this is about like, I don't know, like my recovery or something. Because honestly, I don't even feel like I'm fucking recovering from anything. So I'm just trying to talk to how I think and what my experiences are. And also, like, it's a bit fluffy because there's lots of deep shit that I haven't worked through myself that I can't really speak to on a camera and broadcast on the internet, because if I haven't been able to face that within myself, then obviously I'm not going to be broadcasting that. But yeah, so been a while since I've done a video. There's lots of ups and downs going on with life, so like I'm not beating myself up for not being consistent with this channel. That, you know, the point wasn't even that it had to be consistent, it was just to get thoughts out. But yeah, I don't know, man, I've been thinking about a lot and maybe too much all at once, which is probably why I haven't had any good like video concepts. Like I've got lots of things that I want to talk about, but it's so much, especially to try and put down in this format. So like maybe in the future this channel will have more production quality or something if I feel like I can get those thoughts out. But enough about the channel. Like one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately is like, well, I've been thinking a lot about childhood trauma because I'm trying to work through my own. But one of the things that I've been thinking about in relation to it is like, well, okay, this is what I want to talk to. So, deriving your value through others, which is a big problem that I have, right? Like I've been going through a lot lately, but the idea is to try and work on myself and become a better person. And through that process, habitually, I find myself reaching out and looking for my value in other people, like expecting that seeing that someone else thinks that I'm valuable is suddenly going to make me valuable to myself. But what that usually leads to is fucking disappointment, right? Because if you go out looking for that value through other people and hoping that they will value you the way that you need to be valued, you just end up getting let down because they don't value you how you need to be valued. Doesn't mean that people don't want to, they just don't know how and don't have that ability. So you get lost, like total just fucking, like you're kind of like a puppy if you're looking for your value in other people, right? Like you're just looking around fucking, you know, the same way a puppy's just like, are you gonna play with me? Are you gonna play with me? You know, if you have a cat, the cat's like, I don't give a fuck. Like if you want to hang and you want to chill, I'll come chill with you, but it doesn't give a fuck. Whereas a dog's always like, you're gonna give me attention, you're gonna love me, you're gonna love me. Difference between humans and dogs is that the dog can usually get over it way quicker than a person can if you're like, no, I can't fucking play with you right now, Scrappy, right? So us humans will get totally cut up on that, like, well, they don't need me. And it's like, well, it's true. They don't fucking need you. Like no one needs you. And you know, when you like, especially if you've been single for a while and like maybe you want to be in a relationship, you're always thinking like, oh, no one will ever want me or need me, you know. It's like, why would you want to be needed? You know what I mean? Sounds like the basis for an unhealthy relationship, right? This person can't fucking do it themselves, so they need you. Which I'm not saying that in a relationship you're not needed by the other person. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if it's before the relationship and that person needs you, not after a relationship's been established and they're already used to receiving, you know, benefits from you being in their existence. Like, oh, I'm fucking sick, like I need you to go down to the store and buy some Panadol. Absolutely, there to serve that need, right? But if they're like, I need you so that I feel comfortable with myself, it's a big bad thing, you know. And that's something that I've been going through a lot. Like I'm definitely trying to work on myself and be like, hey, this guy he's real cool. I like him. Let's hang out more, you know, let's do some shit. But it's real fucking hard. Like, you have to be like independent to be able to do that. And there's lots of people who have been like forced into that situation. They find it quite difficult to be like intimate and open with people, which I'm kind of one of those people. Like, I am very self-sufficient, but the thing is, like, I have this problem in my brain where, like, I know to a degree it is true. Like, you're not really gonna have the most cherishable life as a open extrovert like I am if you're not maintaining social interactions and keeping that dynamic going in your life. But by the same token, it's like, do I really need to feel accepted or approved by other people in order for me to accept and approve myself? And the short answer should be no, right? But of course it can get complicated. You know, if someone's watching this video with fucking pedophilic tendencies, like, no one's going to accept you for that. But I'm sorry, like, you know, maybe a psychologist, but only to try and get you to stop fucking doing that. So there's limits to it. But if you're a general, normal, functioning person, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't just be going out and seeking other people's approval for every fucking decision that you make, or every thing you decide to do in your life, or just even like what state you're going to be in, or how you're going to react, or how you're going to act, should not be dictated by other people in your life. But it's very, very hard for us as humans, holy shit, to not, it's very hard for us as humans to do not derive value from not just external factors, but people in our lives, you know. And other people are external factors when it comes to dealing with self. Like, I do believe, like, we're all one, we're all connected, we're all the same. But that being said, we're all the same in the sense that we're all kind of fucking alone here in our heads a lot of the time. So that's why we seek other people, right? Because we don't want to just be alone. We don't want to just be us and our thoughts and that be everything, which is where relationships come into play and where they're valuable. And also, you can't get things done just by yourself if you want to achieve big shit, you know. Like, people who are doing really cool stuff, or like Quentin Tarantino, you know what I mean? He's got a team of people who can make movies behind him. Fuck yeah, he can write a script, and hell yeah, he can direct one, and hell yeah, he knows a lot about violence. But he's not a sound guy. You know, if it sounds kind of off, he can tell that sound guy that, but he can't tell the sound guy how to fucking position the boom mic, blah, blah, blah. It's not his job. So we need other people to achieve great things. The pyramids weren't built by Khufu, you know what I mean? They were built by all the people that Khufu employed to build the pyramid. So that's where other people are valuable in our lives, is where we can derive value from each other within the physical world. But then when it comes to our sense of self, our own value, how we carry ourselves in life, and how capable we are of achieving different things, that all comes down to how we make ourselves valuable. And it's like, it makes me think, because there's a lot of these like real big rappers or famous artists, right? And of course they've gotten where they are from seeing their own worth and then pursuing that. But there's probably also an equal amount who have been pursuing that based on the feedback that they get from other people on their music. Not them sitting down and listening to their music and going, fuck yeah, this is good. Like, they might have lots of reservations, but then 5, 10, 15, 500 people say, fuck, that song's bussin', man, that's a good fucking song. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's right, I am a good musician. They see the difference, right? Like, you write a good track that you like, and you produce it and you go, fuck yeah, what a song. Or you make a track that you don't know is good, you have no idea, and you're just concerned as to whether this is ever going to get somewhere, and then other people tell you it's good. Now you know you're all good. Basically, if that's your mode of operation, the latter, where you have to wait for that approval in order to feel the value, you're always going to be a step behind, like anyone else who doesn't have that. And lots of us do have it. Lots of us are steps behind in our development than we intended to be. And then we see other people who are ahead in their development and go, well, what the fuck? Like, why aren't I there? For me, it's easy, it's simple. I know why I'm not there, because I spent the last 10 years smoking bongs, doing MDMA, dropping acid, you know, doing all this crazy shit. Fucking little criminal when I was a teenager. Yeah, I did all this crazy shit. I know why I'm a step behind. So it's easy for me to deal with and look at pragmatically and go, okay, well, that's fine, because this is where you are. If I go into the emotion of it, it's like, fuck, dude, it's overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, it'll never be any good, and blah, blah, blah. You know, some mornings I just fucking wake up like that. You know, I'll never win, I'll never succeed. It's a different issue, that thing itself. But the thing is, when you're in that mode of operation of deriving your value from how other people perceive your value, that shit's exacerbated like tenfold. You know what I mean? Like, if you're feeling shit and feeling like, oh, I can't do anything, but you know how to value yourself, you'll be all right. If you're feeling like that and you go out and you have a day where everyone's like, you're great, and you're deriving that value from other people, sure, that will turn your depression around. But not every day is the day where everyone thinks you're fucking great. You might be a fucking sorry sack of shit that day, like, just, you know, energy's all fucking whack, you know, and you're gonna feel like shit, and you're gonna feel like more like shit, because what happens is you go out there seeking other people to say, hey, you're valuable, and they don't fucking see that. There's no value to them in your existence at that time. And if that's your only definition of your value, you're fucked. You're fucked. Just like I am every time I experience that shit, and I'm like, fuck, man, how am I getting myself into this headspace? And I realized it's deriving what I perceive my value to be as what other people perceive it to be. Which they all want different things out of you, right? Like, everyone wants something out of you. A good person and a good friend will usually want more of you. You know what I mean? But they might still want something. Like, if your mate's like, dude, I want to go fucking bowling. Hey, Nico, let's go bowling. I miss my cousin. You know, like, Roman just wants to go fucking bowling with his cousin, right? And when they call you up, it's almost, it could be like a chore. It's like, fuck, man, I don't know if I want to go bowling. But that friend is calling you up like, hey, I want to hang with you and I want to go bowling. Your value to them, in that sense, is both of you interacting and having a good time. But say, on a different frame of mind, like, there's someone you're really into, like maybe you met them when you were out or something, you know? And like, maybe you're chasing them, but they're kind of unavailable or otherwise preoccupied, right? And, you know, maybe it's all good, you guys have had a good dialogue, and then communication drops off or something. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know, why the fuck ain't they talking to me, blah, blah, blah. Like, instead of being like, well, I know I'm valuable, and maybe they're just busy. And if they're not, then I'm valuable enough to go find something else, you know? It's not like this is the last time someone's gonna be into me. And then you go off and you do your thing. But if you're deriving your value from other people, that communication drops off, you know what I mean? It's like, oh God, am I not good enough? You know, why aren't they messaging me, or why aren't they speaking to me? I thought we had a good vibe, I must obviously, you know what I mean? All of that's to do with your perception of your value through someone else's eyes. And it's not even actually what that person is perceiving either. It's what you're perceiving they're perceiving. And that's a twisted head trip, man. That's a fucked up thing for your brain to do, because you're already operating through the mode of perception, which is extremely blinding. But at least you're just operating through your own mode of perception. You can reason with your own perception. Like, if you're seeing something and you're like, I'm not sure if that's real, unless you're heavily schizophrenic, you should be able to work it out, right? When you go a layer up and you're already delusional in your own perception, and now you're putting your perception onto other people's perception and perceiving it as what your perception perceives their perception as, right? Perception inception. It's crazy to even say in the way that I'm saying, but what I mean is you're looking through another person's eyes with no empathy and no understanding of what that person is thinking. All you're looking at is, I don't value myself, I don't know how to value myself, and I'm trying to derive value for myself. And so you use your perception and project it onto someone else, and then if they don't act in accordance with what you perceive would be valuing you, then you are not valuable. So that's a fucked thing. That's a fucked thing to go to. And again, as I said, this channel isn't solutions. This channel is talking about the issue. That's it. And I will try and provide some solutions, but as I said, they only come from me, they only come from my perception and how I've dealt with it, and am still dealing with it and failing to some days. But what the thing is you need to be able to value yourself regardless of external stimuli. Regardless of external stimuli. No matter what the fuck is going on over there, or over there, or over there, in here, I value myself, and I'm at peace. And if you're not at peace, then you're striving to be again. I don't know. It's kind of heavy, but you know, maybe this video is going to be a bit longer because I haven't done one for a while. I don't know how long people are going to listen to me talking to a fucking camera, but it's why I kind of try and make everything I say as eventful and fun as possible, right? But long story short, value yourself. Other people won't value you how you need them to until you value yourself enough to stand up and say, this is how you show I am valuable to you. Please treat me in accordance. And if they don't, you're fucked. And if you're not at that point in your life yet to be able to make that boundary or set that line or value yourself enough to stand up for yourself, then that's what you got to work on first. And you can't expect anyone to give you what you want until you know how to get what you want. Anyway, just some musings.